Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast. Today, talking about Chokelanta, talking about the Rays Dodgers, NFL Week 6, College Football Week 8, and even a little bit of NBA draft. The NBA draft's coming up here, 3 weeks. Let's start off with Chokelanta, shall we, Ben? The Atlanta Falcons dropped yet another game. Moving to 1-6, I believe. Sorry about the yes. They're 1-6. Lions won on a last-second touchdown pass by former Golden Boy Matthew Stafford. Motor City goes to 3-3. Ben, it's not just the Falcons though; it's the city of Atlanta. What needs to change when not just the Falcons, the Braves? Some could even mention the Hawks, but I don't really think the Hawks are a big issue. Georgia football. What needs to change in the state of Georgia?
Well, I think we can split into each team's individually. The Braves, 3-1 leads in baseball are slightly less safe than other sports, just because the kind of volatility of pitching, especially going against the Dodgers. It's hard for me to blame them for losing that lead. But the Atlanta Falcons are a total disaster. It's pretty ridiculous what's going on in Atlanta right now, especially with the Falcons blowing that lead to the Bears, the Cowboys. Todd Gurley just not realizing that he needed to not get in the end zone. I mean, he knew, and he still couldn't avoid it. So there's some curse on the Atlanta Falcons football team right now. Doesn't make sense.
Pretty nuts. I wonder if Todd Gurley saw that Penn State play too against Indiana. Penn State player would have gone down. Game over there too. Doesn't happen so often with notable teams. That happened twice in the span of 24 hours. Baseball currently is the top of the fourth in the Rays Dodgers game. Blake Snell has a one-hitter through 3 with 6 strikeouts. My friend Drew Stahl over at Golden Hour Sports Podcast. I went to a sports broadcasting camp with him in Malvern, Pennsylvania 2 summers ago. He said Blake Snell is going to do something special tonight. I'm calling it. So far, so good. He did post that halfway through the second inning, or maybe it was the first inning, but I love you, Drew. It doesn't matter. Rays have a slight lead 1-0. We'll give you updates every few minutes here as that game progresses because I think we'll have a long show today. Lots to talk about. I'm in a big podcast mood. I think Ben is too. We don't have set times yet. I'm sorry, guys. School, sports, just everything. Can't really do that. And our podcast too have trouble uploading to YouTube. We got to figure that out. But yeah, the best you can do is like, subscribe, share, tell your grandma, tell your aunt, tell your dentist. Everything helps. Just got our first 100 view video, which is also pretty neat. I want to give a quick shout out to that. That video currently sits at 108 views, so that's pretty awesome. And I know Ben is very grateful too.
It's a big accomplishment for us.
It is.
Our view count hadn't been near there, and this video is pretty big.
It was. I think that is attributed to the thumbnail, but helps with the algorithm. People want to click on it then. So I think from now on I'll be putting at least a somewhat decently hard to look for photo as our thumbnail. All right, let's actually talk sports now. Talk baseball, talk NFL. I told you we'd talk about football, and our first topic is Trevor Lawrence in a press conference today saying, will I stay? Who knows? Ben, is Trevor Lawrence going to be staying for his senior year at Clemson?
Well, I think it would be hard to predict right now that he would stay. There's a few factors in that statement. First off, Trevor Lawrence right now, if everything keeps going smoothly, will enter the NFL draft as the lock number 1 pick. I think we can agree, unless Justin Fields does something ridiculous and shows some unbelievable talent. But Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And I think there's no reason to jeopardize it. The one person who has jeopardized that before is Peyton Manning in 1997. He instead of going to the draft, he stayed at Tennessee for one more year, led them to a national championship, spurned the Jets, which the organization still suffers from that decision. And I think that Trevor Lawrence should not look at that when he is making his decision. I think risk of an injury if he does not declare. So I think he should declare for the draft. I know what he said, but I think that was to boost team morale.
I think so as well. And Peyton Manning staying had a great year at Tennessee, and he ended up doing great things in Indy. And he's Indiana's legend, just in the state. Him and Reggie Miller, and I'm not a big Reggie Miller fan, so I'm always gonna say Peyton Manning made Indiana sports. Maybe Larry Bird too. I don't know. Also, really quickly, shout out to my Twitter, BradHuz30. I post mostly sports, but I also post a little Travis Scott. So yeah, if you're a sports fan, which is probably the reason why you're clicking on this video, make sure to follow my Twitter, BradHuz_30, to see daily news and hourly updates from around the country and world on sports topics. Let's go over scores, though, however, because in the end, scores are what matters, not press conferences. We briefly touched on this on our Michigan one, but I want to go more in depth on a few things, especially stats and Heisman candidates. Mac Jones, 25 for 31 for 387 yards, Ben. Why is Mac Jones barely in the first round on some of these mock drafts? This is incredible.
Well, some of it's just experience. I think through 4-5 games of a season, draft analysts are not willing to put immense amounts of stock into what he's done. I think he's a good prospect, though. He has the intangibles. He's a big guy, has a good arm, and he's leading Alabama to a pretty good season so far.
Absolutely.
So I would expect him to rise into the first round. I don't know. Am I lagging, Brad? I might be lagging.
You're not. You're good, Ben.
Okay.
You are solid. I think Mac Jones is a sure first rounder. Quarterbacks rise. Other than Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Trevor Lawrence, it's kind of like Tanner Morgan, Ian Book, not really anymore. Shane Buechele, Derek King, Zach Wilson, Sam Howell needs to wait another year. But there are kind of a lot of guys that can go from second to sixth round. Ian Book might even have fallen out from there. I think Mac Jones will be a first rounder, except if he gets injured, that changes it. But I love what I've seen from Mac Jones. I thought he deserved to be the starter, not just because he was the senior quarterback that's close with Nick Saban, but I think right now he's better than Bryce Young. And I'm not saying that for on a tick of Bryce Young. Excuse me. Bryce Young is a phenomenal player, and he'll probably end up being a top 10 pick at some point down the road. Maybe even a Heisman winner. Doubt that. Probably a Heisman candidate. But regardless, Alabama has a lot of quarterback talent, and Mac Jones, in my opinion, deserves to be a first rounder. Justin Fields, 20 for 21, 276, 2 touchdowns. Graham Mertz, 20 for 21, 248 with 5 touchdowns. Some crazy numbers. Sean Clifford, 24 for 35, 238, 3 touchdowns, and 17 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. But the key part, those are some good stats, 2 interceptions, which cost Penn State that game in Bloomington, Indiana. Any stats in particular, Ben?
Well,
you want to comment on or touch on?
Yeah, the Big Ten quarterbacks have been kind of ridiculous. I was reading and I saw Graham Mertz. Everyone's talking about Graham Mertz. The guy went 20 for 21, had a streak of 23 straight completions dating back to last season. And QBR, his total QBR, or total pass rating, was only tied for second highest in the Big Ten last week. Justin Fields was higher, and Peyton Ramsey on Northwestern tied him. So there were a ton of great performances from quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I think Joe Milton played pretty well.
Joe Milton played pretty well too. Yes, you cannot knock out the Michigan quarterback. Timothy Vita very quickly, Ben, said, "That's me. I am so full, I can't move." In the live comments, and I figured out live comments don't translate over to regular YouTube comments.
I can't see the comments.
I know you can't see, guests can't see, but when you're looking in YouTube, you cannot see who's commenting from any other time except the live stream. So that's just a quick little update. And if any of the viewers are wondering, that's how it goes. Let's talk spreads. Week 9 college football. I said at the beginning we talk about this next college football week. Boston College, Clemson. At Clemson, the line's 31 for Clemson. I'm taking Boston College.
Yeah,
Ben?
a line over 4 touchdowns. BC's been good this year. I think they keep it
Bill
somewhat
Jerkovich.
reasonable.
Georgia, Kentucky, Georgia 14.5. Not a great game to bet on, I'm not going to lie. But I think Georgia's covering that.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know what? Instead of going through every single game, because the viewers will get bored, I'm going to just point out the games that if I bet, I'd actually bet on. So, Boston College, Clemson, I'd bet Boston College by keeping it decently close. I'm sorry, I don't know my words. Cincinnati, Memphis, Cincinnati by 7. I think Cincinnati wins that at home by more than 7. So I'd take -7 on Cincy. Coastal Carolina by 2.5 against Georgia State. Am I seeing that right? Coastal Carolina, the 5-0, number 20 ranked.
Yeah, take that
team by 2.5 against a 2-2 Georgia State team. That sure beat Tennessee last year. No, Coastal Carolina. Notre Dame against Georgia Tech, 20. Notre Dame should have won by 20. Yes, they should. Notre Dame's winning that by more than 20. I don't. Oklahoma State by 3.5 against Texas. Yes. Oklahoma State has made these games close, so maybe not, but I like that.
Hold up, I see one right here. North Carolina, 6.5 against Virginia.
Oh, great! I was just about to look at that. There you go.
I'm taking North Carolina there.
Yeah.
And the other one.
All right, so rounding out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd probably take out the Notre Dame and make it 5. So that's a 5-team parlay right there. That you don't need help from because you have our insight. Ben, what do you want to talk about? We went through these topics pretty quick. Anything
Why don't we
specific?
Go back to baseball? We didn't talk too much about the World Series.
That's fair.
I think we should run back to Game 4. I don't know if we've talked about that yet. I don't know. The most unbelievable ending I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'll say
absolutely. Game 4 was incredible. That was a game that I've enjoyed watching. I watched the last 4 innings. That was great. That was really great. Pitching, I love low-scoring pitch-offs. That didn't really happen. Blake Snell just got yet another strikeout on Justin Turner, Mr. October, taking his strikeouts to 8. 8, Ben. 8 strikeouts and 3 2/3. Blake Snell is dealing. And Tim said, "Is that your parlay?" Tim, I don't bet. Tim. Max Muncy's at the plate. Ben, I'm going to let you talk about this because I didn't watch the whole game and I didn't do as much research on the game. So take it away, Ben.
So I saw a good part of this game, and it was back and forth. The first game in the World Series where the lead switched hands throughout the game. But let's just take you to the 9th inning. If you didn't watch this game, the 9th inning was where really things happened. 7-6 lead, Dodgers. Kenley Jansen, the Mr. Reliable for most of the past 5 years, but not this year, was in, and there were 2 outs. Kevin Kiermaier gets a single. That's an important thing to remember. And then Randy Arozarena, another single. And then we're down to Brett Phillips, who Brett Phillips traded from the Royals, had not had a hit in the playoffs, had not had a hit in a Rays uniform. He was in purely to be a pinch runner and for his defense. So this was pretty bad for the Rays. Kenley Jansen gets him to a 2-strike count. He laces one into center, and Kiermaier scores easily because Chris Taylor a Gold Glove fielder in general. He's a great fielder. He booted the ball, which just is so rare for him. And then Randy Rosarina turns third, does a Daniel Jones, completely face plants, and they have him out by a mile at home. But Austin, I'm forgetting his last name. No, Will Smith. Will Smith,
the starting catcher,
does not catch the ball, the relay into home, and
the Dodgers have a better catcher.
Rays come away.
Will Smith is not a top 15, 10 catcher.
Austin Barnes is a better catcher.
And he started the next game because of that. Why he wasn't starting there? Maybe the pitching. Okay, but
Will Smith's a better hitter, I think.
If you're in the bottom of the ninth with a lead, I'm putting in the better catcher, right? The better defensive player. So I don't know. Questionable call. Rays win this series. That could be the difference maker. So yeah, Game 6 going on right now. About halfway through the game, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 3-2 count on Max Muncy. I wish we could watch it live. I'm actually debating, Ben, on you'd be there too, but we do like a play-by-play, like a game. Like we could do Thursday Night Football on Twitch, and we wouldn't get banned because it's on Twitch, and like it's for everyone to see.
They don't.
Wouldn't that be cool? Someone said I'm Japanese with multiple katas, which is Chinese for characters. So I think you're Chinese. You might be Japanese, but I don't know. End of the fourth, Max Muncy striked out, taking Blake Snell's K's to 9, Ben.
Hey, if they leave him in.
That's 4 backwards Ks.
Are they going to leave him in, though? Because the Rays are known for pulling their guys.
They better not.
I mean,
this is his last game of the season. You're pitching the whole game until your arm is dead. You're pitching at least 110 pitches if you're doing okay.
Hey.
Or does he come in tomorrow? Or does he come in tomorrow?
That would be wild.
That happens sometimes.
They would have to pull him now. They would have to pull him now.
They're going to put in Glasnow tomorrow, right? If Charlie Morton isn't dealing. I think Charlie Morton's going to deal. Tomorrow's going to be just a straight pitch and duel. I'm excited for it. I am excited for it, Ben. Are you?
Walker Buehler's been...
He's so good.
He's really good. But he's been... it might be Buehler. I just never know to say his name. But he's been a little more inconsistent this year overall than normal years. His year was...
It's 2020. You can't hate him on it. I agree, though. All right,
so
Ben.
We'll see.
17 and a half minutes strong. I think that's going to be it. Getting a little late here. Thank you guys for watching. Yet another episode. Hopefully we can pass another 100 views, get our most viewed video in this video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Not sure if anyone has ever made it to the end of the video, but yet I always give an outro and I always thank you for watching. Maybe my grandpa and my tutor watched it. No, Tim is not here, and the Japanese person / Chinese person is not here either. All right. Peace, everyone. Thank you for watching. Ben, stay in